We are talking about Star Trek Discovery Season 5 will combine new and old styles of the franchise. And just in case you don't remember, yes, Season 4 just ended. And yes, there is already a Season 5. And it looks like we'll be combining a lot of things from old Trek into new Trek. And we wonder how you feel about that. But before I let Shane take over, because he's going to be talking for at least 10 minutes,
No, no, no.
please hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and the like button if you care on your way to the comment section to start streaming about Star Trek. Shane, what's happening?
Listen, if you love Star Trek Discovery, if you love it and you're like, yes, I love this Star Trek, then let me tell you something. I'm very happy for you, and I am so happy you like it. And you can still come here and watch our channel as much as you want. But I can't stand this freaking show. And I am so sorry. Don't hate me for it. I'm just being honest. I'm trying really hard. And
So hard.
I am. I'm trying really hard. I pretty much said I wasn't going to watch it after season 2. I told Brian, I'm like, I'm just done with it. I can't watch it no more. And then I said, eventually he's like, man, it's getting better. It's getting better. So I'm okay. So I started watching season 3 and it was better. There were some better things. And, they were in the future. It wasn't affecting things as much. And I'm like, okay, I got this. And then I noticed as I'm going through season 4, and I'm forcing myself to get through it. I'm going to be honest. I'm forcing myself. Because I know I got to get to the end because we're going to talk about it. And something interesting happened. Michael Burnham stopped being the main reason I didn't like this show anymore.
Okay.
She was the main reason I didn't like Star Trek Discovery. I just didn't like her. I thought she was too bossy. I thought she was too. I didn't think she was very captain-like, even though she was mostly a first officer. And to her credit, when she became a captain, she actually kind of became a captain.
Okay.
But what happened with Star Trek Discovery, in my opinion, is, and this is okay. I don't watch Lifetime television. I don't. I don't watch it. I don't watch it because I don't like the shows. I'm not into,
What about the Oxygen Network?
or Oxygen. I'm a dude, I guess, and I just don't like it.
And that's okay.
And listen, maybe there's some dudes who like Lifetime and Oxygen, and they love watching the shows where all the women get together and and kill the man that was doing them wrong. Maybe hey, to each their own. I mean, it's like cool. I'm sure my wife would watch the heck out of that stuff.
Yeah, she
But
dreams of killing you.
I don't want to watch that. And so what I believe has happened, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, that's content is content. There's content for everybody. And I just believe, I kept telling myself, it's Star Trek, it must be my content. Right? I just kept saying that. It's Star Trek.
Right.
It's Star Trek. It must be for me. It's just not for me. It's not my type of content. They took a Star Trek story, they took Star Trek material, and they made a Lifetime Oxygen Network TV show.
Right.
And in this TV show, there's nothing wrong with this. But for me, it's not great. I don't want to know everybody's mental status every 3 minutes. I don't need to know that each person is hurting inside mentally and have the character next to them say, "Are you okay? Is everything all right? I'm here to support you. Listen, you're not alone." And to the point where the computer actually becomes one of those characters.
Oh, the computer starts doing the same thing. Yeah, I noticed that.
Right? Or in the middle
Doctor,
of a...
I need to speak to you. I don't feel right. And you're like, what are you doing?
Right. And then Saru, like in the middle of a scene where everyone is about to die, pulls Michael aside and is like, why do you think she meant that she didn't want to hang out with me? Talking about the Vulcan president lady. I'm like, what's going on here? Am I in reality? Like everybody's about to die from these 10C people or beings. And what I realized was it just isn't great. Like, that's not fair. It's just not great for me. Yeah. And I want to like everything Star Trek, but it wasn't made, respectfully, it was not made for people like me. It was intentionally made for people who want that style of television. And it's just not me. So, I've said my piece. I'm probably never going to talk about it again until season 5 when I get stuck back here doing this again. Because, and Brian hasn't even had a chance to say anything, but because I just want to lead into this. Discovery 5, the headline is Star Trek Discovery Season 5 will combine new and old styles of franchise. That stopped me. But before we go into that, Brian, tell me what you think of Discovery.
I feel like I've been talking about Discovery on and off for the last few weeks every show, but yeah, it's not for me. It's not made for me. It's not made for. I don't think it's made for Trekkies. I think maybe it's made.
There's
for,
so much Trekkie stuff in it, bro.
I know, and maybe it's made for a very small group of Trekkies, perhaps.
Okay.
But it's not really made for us. Yeah, you're right. If Star Trek was on, the Lifetime network, it would make, and had a massive budget because you don't have to.
Huge. Biggest show ever on Lifetime.
Yeah. Then, this would be it. It just seems like this show it has its marching orders and to death to anyone that disagrees with the methodology and the type of emotions they're going to constantly put out. And if you disagree with it or you criticize it in any way, you are instantly labeled as a misogynist or a sexist or a homophobe or a racist or something.
Right.
A friend of mine on Twitter was like, what was up with this? What's her name? Stacey Green? What's her name?
Abrams, I think.
Stacey Abrams. I don't know her name.
Yeah,
she's
the
governor. Politics.
Governor
Zero.
candidate of Georgia.
Yeah, I don't care about politics at all. I didn't even know that was a politician, right? I didn't care. But someone on Twitter was like, oh, of course, Discovery is going to have Stacey Abrams. He literally said, this is the words he says, of course, Discovery is going to have Stacey Abrams. They're going to give Stacey Abrams a promotion in the Star Trek universe. That's all I said. And his comment was inundated with people calling him a racist and a sexist. And
well,
I don't even know how. How did you even draw the conclusion that he's a racist sexist from what he from
because
that
he doesn't like it, so therefore he must be. And I got to tell you, there are racists, sexists, anti-gay people out there that don't like this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people out there that you're right, and obviously they're not going to like it. But just because somebody doesn't like the content doesn't mean there are those things. There's nothing wrong with LGBTQ characters on a show. It's not, the problem isn't the gender or the race or the sex of the person on the show. It's the constant bombardment that mental health, which is a serious thing, has dominated the point of the show.
Right.
The show is about mental health. It's not about I don't know. It's not about Star Trek to me. It's more about everybody's mental health in Star Trek.
No, you're right.
That's what bothers me.
And that yes, every single character is going through a therapy session. Even when Book and bad guy, whatever his name is gonna go get the power source to stop the DMA, and they argue that as the second what's her name? Jesus Christ, the engineer chick.
Oh, Tig Notaro's character?
When Tig Notaro's character is like, hey, he's gonna kill everyone. That's a great. First off, she did great that episode.
Oh, she was killer, dude. She was one of the best things about those last couple episodes.
Yeah, you're right. She was awesome. And you know what's funny? I said she was awesome when she was introduced. I don't know.
That's true. She's been good all the way through.
Right.
She plays a very straight, laced character.
Right. Now, when she's like, he's going to kill everyone, and he starts to disagree with her, well, what's her next move? Her next move is to play therapist to Book.
Right. And that's how the show operates.
They're an hour away from total annihilation. Right?
Yes.
Like, everything's going to die. if he lets this happen.
The whole everything. Billions of people.
Right, billions of people. And she's like, "Hey, man, listen, I know how you feel, buddy." And you're like, "What are you doing? Is this not feelings time? Billions of people, billions of life forms are going to perish because of this."
She played it crazy cool. She should have called his butt out the moment she saw it and said, "Hey," she should have said it.
Right.
She had to wait for him to bring down the thing and grab his arm. That's what's wrong with it, guys. That's what's wrong with it. Oh, thank you, Archmage. It's Jet Reno. Great name, by the way.
Jet Reno.
Jet Reno.
And I like her character so much.
Yeah, she's great.
Few characters from Discovery that I actually really like every time she's on screen.
I like Reno. I like Stamets.
I like Saru. Except recently,
I don't like Saru anymore. Don't like him no more.
No. Yeah, because recently they're making Saru like this.
Done with Saru.
Is he going through puberty? What's the deal right now?
No, he's the same problem. Everybody, the writer said, look, okay, hey, Michelle Paradiso, the showrunner, look, mental health is a huge issue. Everybody's going to have a mental health problem on board the ship. Everybody. Okay? Jeez. And listen, I'll be honest, I'll be the first one to tell you. I tell my kids, when you go to college, you get a degree and become a therapist. Because in the future, everybody's going to need one. It's going to be the best paying job in America. So go for it. So they're not wrong. The question is do I want to watch it? Do I want to watch several hours of it? I don't know. I don't know, and I don't even know. I don't.
No, you definitely don't.
I don't.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It feels like, even though the stakes are massive, it feels like everyone's really concerned about their personal well-being.
Yes.
And it's so, and as
which is important, but not, it can't overwhelm the entire show.
Right, especially when you're on a military vessel. That's another thing, too, is like, I feel like Star Trek has forgotten that this is the military. We're watching a military show, and for everyone to constantly act out of character in what would be of a future professional organization / military, it takes me out of the show, because they're constantly worried about their personal issues. Even when they're not talking about it to each other, they're making the audience aware of it on screen nonstop. It's nonstop emotional distress, nonstop. Now, even the gosh darn ship is experiencing emotional distress. It feels like a SNL parody, right?
Right. The only person who deserved to have mental problems on that ship was one person in this last season, and that was Book. Because his planet got destroyed with all of his family on it.
I actually like
That's like the only person who deserved, even the guy who was hanging with him, who became like totally mentally unstable.
Massively.
Right? Massively mentally unstable. His partner was gone for years.
Years and years.
So why is it 10 years later, or however many years it is later, that now he's like having this mental breakdown over the whole thing? It's because Discovery showed up.
Yeah, it was almost like...
That's why.
Yeah, right. Discovery shows up, and this guy starts having a mental breakdown. And what's funny is, like, when the guy that lost his entire family and planet...
Like, all the people who ever existed in his race or whatever.
In his world. Yeah. If that guy is the one trying to talk sense into you, you've gone too far.
Right.
If he's the only one on screen right now that is mentally stable, then you need to reevaluate your mental stability.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, I kind of like the whole idea of the 10 C's. I kind of liked the way they did a good job with that. There was, that was good.
I like that we couldn't instantly communicate with them. That was great.
I love that they had to figure out a process that's very Trek.
Very Trek.
I love that it was very complicated and that was all good. It was just that should have been the point of the show. Right. That should have been like what the show was about, not ultimately, we all have problems and we need to talk to somebody about it, which is true. If you feel that way, you got to go talk to somebody. But we don't need a show that overwhelms that. And then, frankly speaking, no matter what political persuasion you are, whether you're on the left or on the right, I hate it when a show comes in and just knocks on the door and says, we're going to show you exactly what we think. And that's what they did. They brought in Stacey Abrams, who's a gubernatorial candidate for the state of Georgia and an upcoming Democratic, probably future presidential candidate. She's political, got it together. Ain't nothing wrong with her. But it just says, hey, this is the side we're on, and this is the person who fixes everything. And it's like...
And I would argue that
that
the state of the planet is actually not fixed. So if anything, you self-own. If you're trying to say we associate with this party, let me show you the dystopian future and who's in charge. Like, no, that does.
Well, what they're saying is that they were able to change. See, that's the point. So what it's saying is we're dystopian now, but we're able to change. And that the whole thing of it is like, it's too much on the nose. And there's articles written about it that was like, most Star Trek shows would kind of play the middle of the road on this, but not these guys. They took a real chance, a real risk.
Right.
And it's like, I'm just not sure why. I'm not sure why it's necessary to take that stand in a show where you got a lot of people who are either in the middle or on either side who are all Star Trek fans. And if you want to scream about being inclusive, then be inclusive.
Right.
And stop finger pointing, or what do you call it? Stop virtue signaling.
Yeah. So a couple of things happened in this episode. Is we did get to see the 10C, which was great.
Yeah.
I did like the 10C. I liked that they weren't new, but they did break a Star Trek alien rule, and we didn't talk about this last week, but I did. I sort of wanted to talk about it today, really quickly, because the species is about as far from humanoid as possible, right?
Yeah.
Not that that's bad, but it really, and I don't know if this is an actual rule or not, but can you remember another species in Star Trek that wasn't humanoid?
Yeah, Picard, end of season 1.
Okay.
All those crazy creatures that they were trying to block out, remember?
Yeah. The Mass Effect ripoffs.
Yes, the Mass Effect beasts.
Okay, so...
But other than that, that was like higher plane of existence. I mean, you got things like, the Horta or, but yeah, I guess, not really.
Okay. Right. All right. So now that we know that's on the table, then, when the headline says season 5 will combine new and old styles of franchise, when we have no problem breaking from the normal Star Trek ranks, we're making new aliens, not a bad thing, right? What do you think their plans are then?
Well, I saw this picture of her next to the original Spock, and I freaked out a little bit. I'm like, no, hold on a second.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm like, wait, whoa, what? You're going to go back in time? Now, luckily, it does say here, and I'll go ahead and share it with you, because this is the reason we're here. This is the story. Sorry for the detour. Star Trek Discovery director Olatunde Osunsanmi. Let me do that again. Olatunde Osunsanmi says season 5 will combine both new and old elements from the iconic franchise. What exactly does this mean? The galaxy is a big place where incredible things can happen. Season 5 is shaping up to be, all I can say is that it's not time travel. But we go back into the past to get further into the future. Now,
interesting.
Okay, let's read that again. We go back into the past to get further into the future. And they're not time traveling, so that means Discovery is going to stay where it's at. That's good news.
But they go back into the past.
Okay.
Further. Let me do that in the trailer voice. Ready?
Do it.
We go back into the past to get further into the future.
Still doesn't make sense, but sounds a lot cooler.
Da, 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 da.
Okay, now they continue to say there's this old version of Star Trek that exists, and this new version that's been created by Alex Kurtzman, but there's a lot of things we still love about the old version. I like that. Okay. So it's about pulling from there. Not necessarily stories or characters, but more themes and process and how those stories are told and applying it to what we do in the future. And that includes Michael Burnham's character and the things she does as captain. Can I tell you what I believe this means?
Yes, but before you do, my prediction is she's
This sponsor from Raid Shadow Legends. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Before you do, check out our sponsor, Raid Shadow. No, I think that means that she will sleep with an Orion woman.
Well, okay, that's fair. But they did say characters. So no characters and no stories.
Okay. All right.
I'll tell you what I believe. And I believe what this means is that they're going to be a more episodic TV show.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Now, think about it. Strange New Worlds, episodic. Kurtzman started taking a whole lot of crap from the fan base during season 2 of Discovery. Well, he took a lot for both seasons. But you notice when we decided we were going to get Strange New Worlds, there became this whole thing of we're going to do episodic. And what they say, it's going to make old Trek fans happy. Right? My guess is that they've said, wow, we've got these big story arcs. Let's go and do something that old fans are going to like and see if we can bring more into Discovery. And I think it's going to be more episodic, which cannot make this show worse for me. So that's a plus, guys. That's a plus for Discovery fans. For me.
The way you said that was like, it cannot make it worse. Because it can't be worse.
For me, right?
You?
I mean, it can be worse. They could go back to season 1. And that is a worse TV show.
Yeah, so if they go episodic too, then that means that we can judge episodes and not entire seasons.
Right, which would be better. They could be encapsulated, and maybe we can enjoy that a little more. I'm really happy that Tilly is at Starfleet Academy, and I really hope she stays there.
Yes, and she was actually not bad that last episode when she was
the show was arguably a little better when she wasn't in the episodes.
It was. You're right.
Wasn't it? Am I wrong?
You're right. I'm so sorry.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it was a better show. Right. Yeah, when she wasn't there.
I'm sorry, Mary. I'm so sorry. I'm sure you're a fine person.
Oh, Mary Wiseman's fine. She's fine.
Your character.
Yes.
It's not written right. It's just not. It's not written right, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't work with what... You know what's funny is her character might have actually worked better in as a member of Enterprise or Voyager or something where there was a little more heart and humor, but it doesn't work here, and her character is so off-putting in this setting especially that it just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
I mean, it worked great. I mean, it didn't work great. Sorry, it never worked great. But in the first, when she was a fresh-faced ensign, I guess it was like, okay, cool. Because in the real Navy, the ensigns are kind of treated like little kids. But now she's 4 years in, man. She needs to be a grown-up now. And I know she's done that by kind of being a teacher. That's why I hope she stays at Starfleet Academy and maybe they bring her in every. She seems to have a rapport with the Admiral, which it's weird that she reports directly to the Admiral, but okay.
It is really weird.
There's some weirdness there. Like, why was Stamets reporting directly to the Admiral?
Yeah, why is it
that was weird?
The second Discovery got to the future, they became the most important humans in the Federation?
Well, because the show's about them.
Important people.
The show's about them.
I know, but you can make the show about them without instantly making... Burnham has a vote at the Starfleet, Federation thing.
Yeah, why did she have a vote?
I don't know why she had a vote, bro. They're all so damn important all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's a problem. That was weird. But and what about the old dude who was like the counselor to everybody's counselor? The guy, we never find out who he is.
Oh, the guy with the glasses. He doesn't need to wear glasses, but he likes glasses, remember?
Right. And he's from must be from another place, and he doesn't need to deal with the 12 C's because he got more important stuff to deal with.
Right. Yeah, okay. There was this moment, you're right, in like the third to last episode where like they're going to go and head off to find the 10 C's.
He's obviously the most intelligent person that's still sane, you know, because
Right.
arguably that bad guy or the other guy was.
Right.
But this guy is obviously, he fixes everything.
Right.
He fixed the ship. He fixes Stamets. He fixes everybody. He fixes the doctor. Okay, why is this guy not on this ship?
Yeah, and then he goes, oh, we're gonna, you know, are you coming with us? He goes, no, I'm sorry, I have more important things to do.
I'm like, what?
And
what
one of
do
the
you have?
characters was like, what's more important than this? And he was like, you wouldn't understand or something. Like, I'm sorry, dude, no one understands. How?
Yeah.
What can you possibly be doing that's more important than the universe going up in smoke, basically?
Yeah, dude, he was literally, and if you really think about this, he was the most important character on the show.
Right.
Do you know why? He was the only one without a mental health problem on the whole show.
Bro,
He literally solved everyone else's. He was the key to everyone's success on the show. That dude should have been glue on Discovery, like glued to a chair where everybody just walked up and touched him and were automatically healed, right? Like some.
Bro, if I was
circus
interested in
creature.
torturing myself, I would say let's do a Popcast Prime video about
Not in a million
about who
freaking
this
years.
guy is. Yeah, but then I would have to go and watch all those episodes and get clips of him for 2 seasons. I don't want to do
You know
that.
what? Actually, that might be a good idea. We're just going to put on the thumbnail and be like, who the heck is this? Question mark.
Who the F is this guy?
Right. That would be great thumbnail. And we got to find out because I don't know, man. That guy was something else.
Oh. Yeah. So I mean, listen, Discovery going back to a legacy style of shooting and storytelling sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because they say here specifically themes and process. Now, themes, let's say themes. What does that mean? So themes, which ironically, I mean, the themes of the old Star Trek shows were always about good versus evil. We're always about right versus wrong. And I would argue that Discovery's sort of tried to do the same thing, although the values may be a little different. But maybe the theme is Federation, Federation first, honor, all those things that we love about Starfleet and the Federation, they exist in a weird, twisted sense in Discovery.
Well, how about using instead of showing the character growth via exposition, instead of telling you the character's growth via exposition, maybe showing you the character's growth via stories. That's what TNG did a lot of. I mean, a lot of episodes were sometimes about individual characters or relationships, and it tied into the storyline. I didn't need them talking about it for 10 minutes.
That's a good point. Yeah, there needs to be more. I can't say there needs to be more action because there's tons of explosions and all kinds of visual things, but it does seem like the exposition is just rather boring.
Right.
And it feels like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it feels like Captain Burnham spends most of her time reassuring the rest of her crew. Like there's this constant sense of, you're doing good over there. Hey, you're doing good over there.
Great.
Just keep it together. You're doing a good job. It's like Coach Michael Burnham.
I'm proud of you.
Right. Now listen, a captain has a bunch of different roles. Sometimes you got to crack that whip. Right? With Janeway, she would have cracked that whip. Right? And there was no use of a first officer to counterbalance. So Saru did not do a good job of counterbalancing the captain like Chakotay or like Riker would have done.
Right.
Or even like Kira would have done. Okay, for Deep Space Nine.
Right.
There was no counterbalance in the characters.
Maybe that's because Burnham was always also the character that was doing the action. She was always
she was the captain and the first officer. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyways, we could talk about this all day, but I do believe that we are going to be getting episodic Discovery for season 5, and yet to be determined. I mean, listen, if they bring down the emotional turmoil of each character, and I don't feel like I'm in a constant therapy session, then I might try to watch it again. We'll see.
There's one thing to leave with is what happens to the 10C now that they agreed to no longer support their hyper field.
Well, I guess they got to live, and I tell you what, that was not kind of, I didn't like that either, and I'll tell you why. Okay, I guess we're going to talk about it a little longer.
Sorry.
Book was mad, and I get that. And he's like, no, not good enough.
Not good enough,
man.
mother.
Not
Yeah.
good enough. Not saying I'm sorry and we're going to stop doing it. Not
Right.
good enough. No, you need to make yourself vulnerable to get your asses whooped out there. And and we can't help you. So, but yeah, make yourself vulnerable so that you know what it feels like. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was more like he didn't want them to destroy any planet because all life is precious, and you're like,
I was okay with like,
an uninhabited planet with no higher life forms. I do not find that a problem. So.
well, they did throw it, and it was smart for them to do this because if they had just stopped with that, it wouldn't have been good. But they did mention that it messes up the space or something.
That's true.
So maybe that's a good reason is future civilizations or whatever. But I just felt like, man, you know, they just stopped everything. You're really pressing it. And they did a good job by having the president's face when Book goes, not good enough. They cut to the president's face really quick, and she's like this. And she's got this like, whoa, what's going on here? Right? I mean, it worked out, but
they just brought him back to life. I actually don't like the fact that they brought him back to life, too. That was a mistake.
Ooh, Book?
Yeah.
You know, they aren't gonna let Burnham
this season
have that kind of loss. Her character is gonna be tormented, you know, at some point. So I'm okay with Book being around. I like him as a character. I thought they were much too like, yay, Book's back, kind of. Book almost got everybody killed. Okay, Book was even though he's distraught, mentally handicapped the way that, you know, a lot of the people were in the show. He specifically had a good reason, but like at some point, reason has to be like, hey, look, man, let us talk to the people. We got hours and hours and hours. Let's just talk to him. And then I guess his friend blew up stuff. Whatever. I don't know.
Archmage says the 10C question mark. They'll mention in passing once next season and then never bring them up again. That's true.
Yeah, I mean they're outside the galaxy. It's not like
but they actually have to come into our galaxy to live though now, right?
No, I don't know. I mean, can they not survive outside of the galaxy?
It's like a void or whatever. There's nothing there. The hyperfield is what keeping them like. I guess whatever's outside the galaxy or.
Well, like the hyperfield was there because their planet was destroyed by meteors or asteroids or something.
No, the void. I don't know what that means.
Oh, was it destroyed by the void? I guess I didn't get all that, but yeah, I don't expect them to be characters that we spend a lot of time with because they don't feel like important characters. We know they're out there. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, and they're crazy advanced.
Yeah, and they almost had that Voyager moment where it was going to take decades to come back, and Burnham made the choice to do that anyways, even though they might not be able to get home.
That would have been awesome. Why didn't they do that? That could have been the 5th season, man.
Well, it would have taken. Well, yeah, it would have taken decades to get back. They said.
No, but it could have been the fifth season. In the 5th season, they could have found a way to get back sooner. Maybe they repair their spore drive at the end of the 5th season.
That would have been cool, and then you could have had all kinds of like adventures in the. I want to know which quadrant. Is it the Gamma quadrant where they were at? It wasn't the Delta, I don't think.
It's the far away quadrant. That's what it is.
It must be just outside the Alpha. I don't know. It's very interesting when you look at like the Star Wars galaxy. You know, and if you look at a map, you would almost envision the Alpha quadrant being in the southern hemisphere, the Delta quadrant being in the northern, Gamma's in the western, and then what am I missing here?
Alpha, Beta, Gamma.
Oh, the Beta quadrant's in the east. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Archmage says, "I'll give them this. At least they said these aliens came from outside our galaxy." True. That's good.
True.
Does this mean in season 5 the rest of the bridge crew will get lines and stories? Well, you know they actually did in season 4 quite a bit. Expanded on the bridge crew. We got Borg. Is that girl a Borg? What is she? She's got. I don't
know. What's up with that chick? She has like she's not a Borg, but she is definitely cybernetically enhanced.
Yeah, and she's got like. She's definitely, her story was built up. Like, she's got, like, this tough exterior with some weird stuff going on inside of her, I guess.
Remember that one chick that they killed off that was, like, all machine?
Oh, back a long time ago?
Super cybernetically enhanced, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. They didn't need 2 cyborgs on the ship, I guess.
Apparently not. All right, we're going to wrap this story up, and we're going to talk to the members. Listen, if you are watching this right now, hit the subscribe button on the way to the comment section to yell about the characters we just murdered their names.
and then the other girl who's the other pilot or the other helmsman, I guess, she went out with Michael and
She did.
they did stuff together. So you got those two people. You got the really unlikable Asian
sorry.
kid.
Yeah. Can we talk about that episode real quick? Just real quick.
Which one?
Did you see the episode where she went with Burnham and she
Yeah.
got fought in the ring?
Oh yeah.
Can you explain to me how it works that she gets her ass beat 3 times, beats the guy once, and wins the whole pot?
They were scamming him, bro. So what happened was is they were betting like little, like, yeah, I'm gonna beat him, and then she was throwing the fight. And so she did it, and then that was a play. It wasn't good acting. But Michael Burnham's like, no, you can't do this. I'm not going to let you do this anymore. She's like, please, one more try. And like 3 times. You know, it's like losing in pool a bunch of times and then just whooping their ass for all
They
of it.
did not make that clear.
They were scamming him, bro.
Oh, they didn't make that clear. I thought it was like a tournament or something.
No, they scammed him, man.
Oh, that was not good acting because I did not know
Yeah.
that's what was going on.
Or maybe the acting was good because you weren't supposed to know they were scamming him.
Then the writing should have made the audience aware of it, though, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yes, you're right. That's part of the problem. And if you notice, the guy came back and said, "That's our money." When they made that huge bet because you scammed us or whatever. So, and that's how they got enough latinum to be able to do the deal.
Whatever.
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of a weird thing. And then I didn't know she was like this crazy, amazing fighter either. Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, I guess we learned something about the character. But the character I don't like on the bridge, 100%, is Commander What's His Nuts, the Asian guy.
The Asian fella.
I have not found him in a likable moment yet that he's been on screen. He played the antithesis of Book's. You know, he's like, yeah, you know those people. He was on Book's side kind of, and it just seems like every time he gets the con, he's just kind of. I don't like him. I don't know. I don't like the character.
You don't like this show. All right,
I
let us know
know,
what you
I
guys
know.
think in the comment section. Subscribe on the way down. Don't forget it, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.